Dave, welcome to the podcast. We're here. We just
How
finished
many,
week
how many times have you started the podcast with this?
a lot.
I
Kind of
want to say every time.
yeah. How many times have I
And
started the
and
podcast like this?
and with that, yeah, I'm definitely calling HR
Yeah,
because I know they don't watch.
exactly. Or by HR, do you mean the Hillbilly Harrison podcast like com- parent company?
Oh, maybe, yeah, where we get all our funding.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So yeah, good times. We are getting ready to head into week 9.
I know, crazy. So, and because like we're technically past halfway, but if you include the playoffs, we're for most teams that make the playoffs, we're right about halfway. Um, so today, after we do our normal awards, we'll talk about some mid-season awards that
There
we'll
you
give
go.
out. Yeah, and then we'll talk about our matchups. It is in the Smith household, it's rivalry week because we're going up against Rennie. I guess Rennie's probably like everybody's rival.
Is that right?
I mean Junior and Lee more because like those two
I
like
mean,
to fight.
I don't have a history with Rennie enough to have to be a rival with him.
Yeah,
So,
we have the
you know,
podcast rivalry.
we do have that. Um,
You
you
have
know,
your For a while, I felt like it was you and Adam were a rivalry
yeah,
because, like,
we were always at odds about something.
yeah,
So yeah,
you know. So, all right, do you have a team of the week?
I do. So I felt like this week, my there's sometimes there's teams, and this week we got 3 teams that I felt like were deserving because they're the only 3 teams that have won 3 weeks in a row and totally
Okay.
changed the trajectory of their season. Um, One of those teams is Junior, but it's not surprising that he's won 3 in a row based on how many points he scored every week all season
Yep.
long. So it didn't go to him. Brennan's the other guy 3 in a row, but he won last week with a bigger point total. So I didn't give it to him this week. And so the third guy is old Josh Rademacher. He had a
Man,
solid win, hit a 120 something, 3 wins in a row. He was down there hovering in my land, and now he's not because he's won three weeks in a row, and he's totally changed his season outlook. And so this week's Miller Time Award goes to none other than the nicest guy in all of Hillbilly Harrison League football, Josh Rademacher.
and is his team sneaky good? We'll talk.
I,
Maybe we'll talk about his team in a little bit. I don't know what your thoughts are, but man, I was
yeah,
just checking out his lineup, and there's some. We'll talk about it when we get to the midseason awards. You and I will talk about
okay.
it, but his team is sneaky good for a few different reasons. I mean, we when we did our draft recap, we talked about, hey, no shame in the number one pick. I mean, anytime,
Yeah,
like so Chase has, you know, we'll see. This past week they scored a lot of points, but if you know Joe Flacco doesn't play, that obviously hurts Josh and Jamar.
yeah,
But we'll see. He's done great. 3 wins in a row. He's one of four four teams maybe that's averaging over 100 points a game. Maybe there's five. I don't know. I'll have to look. But he's
yeah,
hitting that. After 8 weeks, he's got over 800 points, which is where you want to be. So
yeah,
that brings
yeah,
us
definitely.
to our Hillbilly Harrison Hillbilly of the Week. And I'm really torn about this one. Like, I was kind of going back and forth. But I'm going to give it to Andy. And it is,
Ooh, ouch.
yeah, I mean, number one, I don't want to kick Adam while he's down. All right. So that's like that 53 by Adam is not good, but it's also what we've come to expect from a team that's just, riddled with injuries and just not really doing well. And Adam might be real close to just like like not paying attention to the rest of the season. I don't know. I'm not saying that he would do that, but like things just aren't going his way. And there just comes a point where it's like, you know what I mean? So, but for Andy, 2 losses in a row, 2 low scoring affairs for him when he was sitting up on top. He could have really created some distance for him and Travis between everybody else, and now everybody, we got 3 teams sitting at 6-2, and left the door open for the worst team in fantasy football to have a chance to maybe do something crazy and have the worst team win the league. So I don't know how that happens. We'll talk about that more later too. But I give it to Andy because 69. All he had to do was score 80. Score 80 and you win this football game, and he couldn't get it done. So some bad juju. I could have given it to you. You also had every opportunity to get a win there this week and could not get it done.
Yes, it was not good.
I honestly thought about giving. The reason I thought about giving it to you is because you didn't even pick yourself to win.
Yeah. I was right. I guess that's kind of a silly thing to say. Hey, guess what? I'm going to lose, and then be right about it.
So, all right. Well, those are our awards. Let's kind of real quickly go through some of the matchups. Junior just keeps winning. You mentioned it. He played Ed. Ed 1 loss in a row, so we're not going to jump off the Ed train just yet. But some things that we, -2 from his defense, 4 from his quarterback, 0 from Quentin Johnston. Like, he had some things not go his way. I wouldn't think that these things are going to be. I mean, he fielded a complete lineup.
He did. It wasn't like last week.
Yeah.
When he didn't need it.
Yeah. So good for Ed on that. But Junior, 127, that's going to be hard to beat anyway. So it's really not on Ed. I mean, Ed had a down week for sure, but Junior came through. Big week, and 33 from Hurts, 33 from Cook, and then everybody else, 17 from your kicker. He survives a -1 from his defense. That's 2 teams that win that have negatives on their defense.
Yeah, there were a few negatives out there. It's been a theme, seems like, for a few weeks now, where everybody's thinking, you pick a team, you choose that defense for a reason, and they're not even always bad reasons. Like, we'll get to your case, but you don't really think you're going to go negative. You don't plan on it.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Brian, not so lucky. We could have had the trifecta with the negative defenses getting wins, but Brian tried so hard. We almost had a Monday Night Miracle. Mahomes puts up 30, McLaurin puts up 11. It was close. He came up short. And I don't know that Mahomes could have done any more other than not throw the 2 picks.
Yeah, but he still would have lost, right?
Yeah.
Picks worth -1.
I just mean they scored so many points. Like Washington only wasn't doing anything, so it's like.
Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Like, he just would be running around.
Yeah.
He should have been sacked. And he just dumps it some direction, and a guy catches it and goes 20 yards. It's like, how demoralizing is that for the defense?
Yeah. Now, obviously, you maybe would have liked to seen a little bit more out of McLaurin. Bad news, he loses him.
Where it would have been, he had 2 amazing catches.
Yeah.
1 touchdown and 1 on the sideline that kept them going.
Yeah.
That could have gone either way on the call, and those are pretty impressive catches. And that without that, Brian would have got blown out.
Yeah. So, great win for Brennan. He needed it. It was, Brennan got to almost 90, which isn't bad. 27 from his defense definitely helps out. That covers up a lot of
Well,
Me-
defense, kicker, tight end.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
all. That was all he did.
Yep.
Everybody else not so good. But hey, all the points count the same.
Yep. So, you know, poor Brian, 1-7, not great, but has a
Yeah.
decent lineup. I mean, his team is
Yeah.
not terrible.
No, it's
He's
not at
been
all.
really
And
unfortunate.
we'll get to some of that.
Yeah. We mentioned you versus Lee. You couldn't crack
Yeah, it
70.
was just
You wasted a Drake May stellar performance with.
yeah.
How do you feel about your running back situation?
Yeah, I made some I didn't plan ahead very well. Like I didn't plan, I didn't account for your running back coming back the week that he did. I needed
Yep.
one more week out of Mason getting all the touches. Neither one of them put together did much,
No.
so it wouldn't. But then I also really had earmarked. I had made plans, but Tampa didn't cooperate with me to have Irvin come back this week instead of waiting until 2 weeks after after their bye week. But like 3 weeks ago, I didn't plan for this as if Irvin wouldn't be back. And so I had nobody.
Yeah.
And having nobody is not a good place to be.
No.
And it didn't work out for me.
Well, and like
And then Ertz did
other
nothing.
other
Because I had a
guys that
chance Monday night
yeah, but then other
or
guys
Sunday
who
night, Monday night.
yeah, other guys who could have stepped up and helped you out didn't. You know what I mean? So it's just kind
Did
of
not.
like
Did
one of
not do
those
that.
things. You got positive points from your defense, though. That is a step in the right
Yeah,
direction.
and that's some of that factors into why didn't end up with running back because I wasn't willing to take because if early on you're willing to like drop some positions and take
Right.
chances on some second backs in case the number one gets hurt and be in a position, you know, I tried that with Justice Hill just in case Henry, but I'll probably not be able to keep him around. But I didn't do that. I didn't have a bunch of running backs on my roster just to take the chance to end up with a whoever. I kept two good defenses, and you can only play one of them every week, and both those defenses have been positive pretty much every week.
Yeah.
But those positive points on your bench, I don't know if you know this or not, but positive points on your bench don't help you.
No, not at least not in the short term. You know what I mean?
No.
So Flex back to doing Flex things, puts up a
Yeah.
134,
Jeez.
and
They everybody Barkley came back. Allen's been, he's like he had a couple down weeks, but 20 points out of a kicker. Jeez.
yeah,
When
and
it
Rennie puts
goes
up
right for him, it really goes right.
yeah, Rennie has a great, puts up a great
Yeah,
score.
one of his better ones.
Yeah, and probably wishes he would have got more out of his quarterback. He could have started Stroud, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be enough. And so but 109 is a great score. But Rennie finds himself in the precarious position where he loses 3 in a row. You lose 3 in a row, and you scored 110. Like he's the reverse of Junior, and just at least this week. I know he has some other weeks
And he's
where
the
he didn't
reverse
score
of
as much.
what
But
he was earlier in the season when he was getting wins, not scoring.
yeah, everything kind of evens out. So huge week from Ratty. We talked about it, and what I was talking about just about his if you look, we talked about Miami being so terrible, but Achan's been really good, and and then Williams from Dallas has been really good. Chase has been really good, and so and then he's kind of had that situation where he's picking between Bo Nix or other Dart, like who to start in those situations. Both of those guys have been pretty decent, and so like the combination of Chase, Williams, and Achan's been really, really strong for Josh, and has helped him have the amount of points that he has. All 3 of those guys are over 100 points scored for the season, which is really good where we're at right now. So that was just something I noticed. And then Adam, obviously,
I don't know.
tough.
I don't even know what to say. I think we've all been there. We've had seasons like this. Most of us have anyway.
Yeah, first year
fun.
we started the podcast, I had a season where where I started like 0-8 or something. So yeah, we
yeah. we understand and we feel, and there's like, you want to be like, well, he'll bounce back, but it might be too late this season. It might be next
Yeah.
season. He'll come back with a vengeance. It'll happen.
Yeah. And this was a slog fest between me and Andy. I end up with
Yeah,
79, and you and Andy ends up with 69. Now you think there's something nefarious going on because I just continue to get wins on Monday Night Football. Is that what you're alluding to?
or just something. Yeah, just something ain't right in the world. You know, something's foul in Denmark
Yeah. I mean, to
for
get
the
a
Shakespeare
win
fans.
when I went -6 on defense, and I told Andy, I saw Andy Monday night, and he was like, "It's you and me." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "We'll still be friends no matter what happens." And now I don't know if that's true because like
That's
that
probably
was
not true. Yeah,
yeah, it's not true. But
but yeah,
I
I mean,
told it,
and really, I mean, yeah, nobody thinks the Bengals defense is good, but
no, no.
the Jets have been
The
no matter
the
who
Jets
plays
hadn't scored
them,
a first half touchdown in like the
yeah,
last.
like playing any defense against the Jets has been a decent move all season long. And
Well, and I
the
told
Bengals
Andy, I
should
said,
have picked him off, fumbled him, sacked him
yeah.
enough times to keep you from getting -6. Like that's a
Uh,
travesty of injustice that that they did what they did.
Well, and they lose a game, and it's one of the reasons why I'm like, this is why I don't play Bengals. Like this is because
Yeah.
like watching the game was doubly miserable. It was
Oh
miserable
yeah.
because but then I told Andy, I was like, it's just me overthinking it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the Broncos have proven that they can be played every week, even
Yeah.
though they were playing Dallas, who and it's like because they can give up 30 points, but they're going to pick somebody off. They're going to get some
They're gonna
sacks. They're going to
sack.
do
Yeah.
other things, and it's going to make up for it. And I'm like, I take the flyer, and I'm like, oh, the Jets, like, the Bengals just played so great against Pittsburgh, and so it's going to translate. And then they go and do this, and so it
Yeah.
just is what makes being a Bengals fan infuriating.
Yeah.
I'm so fortunate it didn't cost me. Andy, if you watch this on Thursday, it should have cost me. I'm sorry you got the
Yeah.
L on
I
this.
mean,
So
I feel like with the talent they had back, because like, I mean, obviously McLaren was back until he got, but he did a
yeah,
lot. I don't know where Debo was,
yeah,
but Mariota played like he'd never played. Like he didn't play very good at all. Like
yeah,
he should have got 10 more points.
yes. And if he played the way he did in the first quarter, I mean, the first quarter he was like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like,
Because
oh, I'm done, and Andy's going to score. But
yeah,
on the flip side, Rice could have had 3 touchdowns. You talked about it in the
he
write up.
could
You know
have
what I mean?
easily, but I mean, they got the ball back a lot. Kansas City kept scoring,
Yes.
and they score quick. So it's like he had plenty of chances,
Yeah.
and he just didn't
Yeah.
didn't come
So
through.
So let me go through the standings real quick. Up at the top, we've got Flex, Andy, and myself in a three-way tie for 6-2, which sounds crazy. I text you, one of these teams doesn't belong. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah,
I'm in full acknowledgement of who
yeah.
my team is, where my team is at, but I'm gonna take it. I will take being
Yeah.
6-2, being
Oh
the
yeah.
worst 6-2
Yeah.
team in maybe in history, but tied for first place is
Yeah.
laughable. And
Every day,
I,
all day, you'll take
I
that.
went
And
through the I haven't even mentioned it. I went through the gauntlet back to back weeks. I played Travis and I played Andy, and I got 2 wins, and that's why I'm where I'm at.
yeah,
And those two teams just
yeah.
happened to like lay eggs when I played them, so none of us scored over 100 on any of them. So it's just kind
And
of
I was
funny
proud of
the
you.
way
I
that is.
I came
What?
back with, I said one of those teams. When you said three, three teams, one's not like the other. I said one
Yeah,
of those teams has a player on their roster that is not even on an NFL team, and you actually knew that your player
yeah,
had been cut, but then you knew that he had been signed back to the practice squad, which means he's still not on the team.
yeah, yeah. Not on the team, but they're projecting that he's going because they've got 3 Arizona Cardinals who we're talking about. Arizona Cardinals
Yeah,
have 3 running backs. My player that I picked up after John Carter got hurt, season-ending injury. I picked up a
yeah,
backup from Arizona just because like, oh well, they'll need somebody. but he's not the starter. But one of their players is injured, who they don't think is going to play, so they're going to bring this guy probably back. I think it's a technicality. They probably had for the roster. He may never play either, but
for a hot
he's
minute,
sitting there. He's a free agent.
You had a guy
right
on
now.
your team that wasn't on a team.
Well, it didn't happen till Monday, but yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also you asked me, I was like, well, the waivers haven't gone through because and you were like, well, you dropped the Bengals right away, and it was like I was proving a point right there. But I had to because I had to put Puka was on IR and I had to bring him back.
You needed a spot.
Yeah. So 3 of us at 6-2. Ratty right behind me, who's a better team than me. At 5-3. Him and Ed. I don't know if Ed is or not, but Ratty's got 808 total points. I've got 769. So he's almost 40 points ahead of me in total points scored. But he's at 5-3. But he has won 3 in a row. So good for Josh. And then we've got at 4-4, 3 teams, Brennan, Lee, and Rennie. And so all 3 of those teams have had their ups and downs. Rennie, I said, 3 losses in a row. He was sitting there at 4-1, feeling like that, he could play with anybody. Obviously, at that time, we had teams that were undefeated, and so he was back with me with 1 loss. But he's routed off 3 losses in a row. But all those wins count the same. He stockpiled 4 wins early, and that's helping keep him in playoff contention. But Junior is coming, and so we've got at 3-5, you and Junior, and then at 1-7, we've got Adam and Brian. And so the way the playoff prediction works is that Adam has a 1% chance of making the playoffs, which means that he's basically out of it. Brian has a 10% chance. Dave, you've got a 40% chance. Kenny has a 54% chance, but Rennie is still favored at 66%. And but this, these last couple spots here, Rennie and Lee and Brennan all hold playoff spots with the same record, but that's too close. You know what I mean? You and Junior are only 1 loss behind them. Junior gets the benefit of having more points than anybody else in the league scored. So as soon as he gets a win, it's like 2 wins because he creates distance between himself. So over the course of the next few weeks, we're going to know a lot more, just as Junior has a chance to either make his season. You know what I mean? He's done all the work to get himself right on the cusp. And now it comes down to like what he does over the next couple weeks to see if he can continue this momentum. But we've got way more buys coming. We've got we got a lot of different things that are happening. There's going to be more injuries. So,
but we play up to through week 14, right? Then it's 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
So 6 full weeks now.
Yeah, we got
9, 10, 11, 12. So a lot can happen. No,
All right. So I'm going to ask you some questions for some mid-season awards. Let's see if you some of them we might just discuss openly. You might already have.
Yeah, you might have an opinion on these.
Yeah. So I asked you mid-season award up to this point. Who do you think had the best overall draft? This isn't like, they hit their number 1 pick and then that. But who do you think just had the best overall draft?
Yeah. So I kind of was like, rather than just going with gut or players that I went by how many are in, top of their position.
Yeah.
And so if you just look at the numbers, unless I missed a team, which you'd mentioned somebody and I realized I better take a second look at them, and that's Ratty. Yeah. But I'm going with Junior because both Ratty and Junior currently have 6 spots that are top 10, and some way better than top 10.
Yeah.
But Junior's all 6 were drafted, so he's got 6 spots that he drafted. He's got a 6 and 3, number 6 and number 3 running back that he drafted, a number 3 quarterback that he drafted, a number 10 wide receiver, and a number 7 wide receiver that he drafted, and a number 2 kicker that he drafted. Yeah. And he's only got 4 spots that are free agents. So he's out of all his draft, he's only got 4 positions that he's ever flip-flopped,
Yeah.
So he's basically has gone this far mainly with who he drafted, and he's got the most points in the league. So it's kind of hard to argue that that's not the best draft. Ratty currently has 6 spots in the top 10, but not all of them. At least one. I didn't look at all of them, but at least one was his kicker was a free agent, so he's flip-flopped that a few times.
Well, and again, like, I'm not arguing with you. I think that Junior probably, just based on a lot of factors, probably had the best draft. He has the worst schedule. He's had the, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. It hasn't turned into being number 1 right now.
Yeah.
But
we mentioned it. Those 3 guys for Josh, Ja'Marr Chase, Achane, and Williams from Dallas, like, those 3 guys all have well over 100 points and are pretty high up for their position. And so that he's an honorable mention for me, just as far as, like, those guys doing really, really well. And, it would take us a while to figure out, like, who got the best value pick, or, like, who, who's doing the most with, who. But top to bottom, like, I agree. Junior's got a great team.
And I only looked at. I was mainly looking at who they have starting right now. If you drop down and look, Ratty's got the number 5 quarterback and a number 2, another defense. I don't remember if he drafted, but they're pretty neck and neck. But I'll give it to Junior just because of the total points. He's maximized. He's started the guys that are doing good, probably more than what Josh has, maybe.
Yeah. So now, you mentioned this last week. It may still be the same. I don't know how much research you did, but I asked you, okay, who's so far through 8 weeks, who's had the best free agent pickup? Who do you think has the best?
So a few weeks ago, I would have gone with Ed's Quentin Johnson, but he's kind of fizzled a bit. And that impact has lessened. And I think the other impact is, as much as I hate to do this because things go to your head, I'm going with your Daniel Jones pick, because you were in a position where you got you needed a quarterback. And you picked a quarterback early, like some of us did, and you knew he was gone for quite a while, and you went with a guy who's currently the number 9 quarterback, and that consistency, I think, has benefited you quite a bit. You haven't had to like try to stream every week and find another quarterback that might get you 20 points. Jones has got you 20-something points just about every week that you've started him, if not every.
I think that's been huge for me. Is, like, we talked about just before, like, what defense am I going to play? You know what I mean? Maybe what kicker am I going to play? What tight end am I going to play? Like, all those have been places where I've had to, like, figure out, obviously, what running backs am I going to play? It has been nice just being like, oh, this is the quarterback. And there are sometimes, like, oh, do you want to, this guy or this guy? This guy's like, nah, you figure he's on a good enough team. They're winning. I said this to you, maybe. Could we just get a shovel pass to Jonathan Taylor every once in a while?
Yeah,
I would have said.
What week was it? What week did Burrow get hurt?
Week 2, at midway through week 2.
So I don't know.
So I picked him up and started him in week 3.
Okay, so you actually stuck it out, which is because you weathered a 17 and a 14. Yeah. But then from then on, it's been 20 and above. And if you would have dropped and added after that 17.
I think it helped me because I think that I might have won one of those and lost one, but you know what I mean? Like, that I was doing well. I would say up until a week ago, or up until this week too, like, and it probably just had to do, because I think that anybody could have picked him up. I think that Adam did it. Adam's pickup of Cam Scatterboo that I had dropped. Obviously, he wasn't just like an unknown free agent, but like, I didn't have room for him because of how much running back and other player injuries that I had, and having to pick up and fill in spots. And while he had been promising, he wasn't like lighting the world on fire like he was. Now, obviously, we know he's done for the season, but and those
would have been good weeks for you to use him.
And here's the crazy thing for Adam is, like, there were so many weeks where, like, because we talked about Adam had a lot of running backs at one point in time that were healthy, and so Adam wasn't even playing him, but he he was producing. He was producing 10 to 15 points every week, and so that's another guy that I would just say, that's a great pickup. He obviously knew that, hey, this was probably a bonehead move by Kevin. I'm going to grab him, and
Yeah.
and really up
But
until like a week ago would have been somebody that I didn't do it because I just was morally against trading a really good player for somebody who I had already had on my team and I dropped.
yeah,
I just wasn't going to do that. But somebody else could have traded a top wide receiver for Scatterboo, and nobody would have even blinked at it. And it was somebody that he picked up off the waivers. So
yeah. And I didn't even go that route because, like you said, Adam really didn't get use out of him because he didn't
yeah,
even get all his good weeks, and now
yeah,
he's done. So,
yep,
and
yep,
you still have Jones going for you.
yeah. How about this one's easy? Comeback
Oh
team
yeah.
of the year.
I mean, well, your criteria was somebody that started 0-3
Yeah,
and is in a better place, and the only team that started 0-3 that's in a better place is Junior.
yeah,
You could, if you changed your criteria a little bit, you could have, like, Brennan lost 4 out of his first 5, and
yeah,
now see where he's at. So he's done, but your criteria of 0-3, it took him a little bit after 0-3, but then he rattled off 3 straight wins now, and he's moving in the right direction. So
yeah.
based on your criteria, it has to be Junior.
But just like with Junior and Josh, we'd say both of them great drafts. I would say both Junior and Brennan have turned their seasons around and like equally, put themselves in positions. And
Oh
actually,
yeah,
while Brennan didn't start as bad as Junior, it was looking bad, and he's actually got himself in a playoff position right now. So, that's something that Junior's still trying to crack. So while I
yeah.
agree,
That
Junior has resurrected his season, if you said that, hey, Brennan's in a better position, then
yeah.
absolutely.
But based on your 0-3 thing,
Yeah. Well, that wasn't me. That was
Brennan
AI. They
got that
did it.
one early win, or like within the first couple
Yep.
weeks, but lost 4 out of his first 5.
Yep. All right. So, and maybe this is maybe I just like hearing my name talked about, but biggest overachiever.
So this was tough because you also will get to, and almost you have a luckiest category, and so
Yeah.
I really struggled with where to put
Differentiating.
you and where to put Rennie,
Yeah. Okay.
because, and so I'll say Rennie's the overachiever with the 4 wins just because he had a couple weeks where he barely scored and he got wins out of them,
Okay.
and and those 4 wins could easily go the other way.
So even though
So
Rennie's 4-4, and at one point in time he was 4-1, even though you tease me a lot and say that my team's made out of smoke and mirrors and fairy tales, Rennie also is in the same position.
yeah, I say, and like, again, like, what's the difference between an overachiever and a luckiest? I don't know.
Yeah. So blame AI. They came up with some of these categories.
I see.
Yes. Okay. Who is underachieving?
So this was tough because I feel like a lot of teams are where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so I hate doing this, but because you, like, right before we got on, I'm like, I hate when everything's about us because we're the ones doing this. But it's a fact that I have the least points against.
Yeah.
By quite a bit, and I haven't done any. I've squandered it. I've done almost nothing with it, and so I'd say underachieving.
Yeah, I was looking at that. You're the only
that,
team that has less than 700 points scored against you.
Yeah. So people suck against me, Austin, compared to
And you can't
everybody
take
else,
advantage of
and
it.
yet, and I don't have, like, on. I didn't start with a bad team. I thought I've had some injury things, and I've had some lineup. I've had some roster management things that I've messed up on and not kept the right person, not started the right person, and stuff like that. That I've definitely blown that. So I can call myself an underachiever. I did less with what I had to work with than I should have. That's basically a definition.
I
right?
like it. I like it. And so we get to the luckiest team, and you already kind of like foreshadowed.
I'd say,
and I would say it's not. Not just,
you've had so much go wrong. Like, Rennie hasn't had as much go wrong. Like, right from the get-go, we talked about, you had you drafted thinking certain things were going to happen
Yeah.
with receivers you thought were going to be able to flip flop, and then immediately the suspension goes into place, and you're like, well, that didn't work. And then you've had some other things that just didn't work, and people hurt, and then you got the best receiver in all of football, and then he gets hurt, and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, but it's not like you have all smoke and mirrors, because you've got some really good wide receivers
Yeah.
that have and then, like we already talked about, you made a really good pickup at quarterback, and that's gone a long way to get you the wins that you've gotten.
Well,
But a
but
few of
I
those
would also
wins,
say,
a few of those wins could have gone the other way pretty
but
easy.
also there's been a lot of like, call it luck or whatever, but it's like it's come down to like Monday Night Football drama.
Yeah,
And we kind of
like
talked about like what had to happen for, wide receivers catching balls when it's fourth down and the game's out of play and you don't need to do it.
That was a win for you that easily could have not happened.
Yeah.
Most other teams wouldn't have made that play.
And even this past week, like Kansas City did not have to score on the drive where Rice went in for that touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, they were already up, and so they could have been just running the football at that point in time.
It could have, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're fine with you being called in this category?
Oh yeah, like I mean, I said if there's anything that I try to be, it's self-aware. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so this is not. I felt honestly like earlier in the season, when I wasn't in first place, I felt like my team was better than it probably is now, although it's shaping into form with like the wide receivers at least, because now I've got 4 legitimate startable wide receivers. You know?
And we talked about last week the magic 6-7 number.
Yeah.
You could have everything go wrong now and probably not miss out on the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to lose.
Even if you luck one more time into a win, that 7 is probably going to get you into the play.
Yeah. Yep. And I get to play Adam on the last game of the season.
Ooh, too. That's a change to say those words.
Yeah. No, but I also have to play Josh again, so that's not.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. But so I mean, it's fun. We're halfway through the season, a little bit over, for those teams not making the playoffs. You had
one more, right?
Oh, do I?
You had one more category.
Unluckiest.
We can't leave this. We can't leave this guy out.
Everyone drops 150. He has a name for a reason. Is that who it is?
So yeah, most points against. We'll just get that out in the open. Most points against. Only one team, and that's Junior, has a lower floor. In that Brian's lowest score has been 85. Everybody else has at least one, if not 2 or 3 weeks below 85, except Junior. Junior doesn't. Everybody else, so if I've had some, you've had some weeks that below 85, some way below that we like to talk about. But if you're 85 and above every single week, you should have more than one win.
It's like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
You give him the nickname,
so I mean,
Bad Beat Brian, and then he just goes and like proves it over and over again.
Yeah. So I mean, the math doesn't lie. Like, he hasn't laid eggs. There's no 85 in our. I mean, obviously, across the board.
Let me just ask
even really good teams.
Give Brian your schedule.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, look at the top 3. You 3 with 6 wins. Look through your schedule and look for some stinkers. All 3 of you have them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
He has none. None of those. No stinkers. And yet he's 1-7. So that's got to be unlike. Like, you can't outmaneuver that. You can't coach that. If you want, you can't roster manipulate. Like, maybe a few weeks he could have played somebody different, but he played decent enough to win every single week, and he's only got 1 win to show for it.
Yeah, and I don't even know what you say about it. You know what I mean? It's like we're never gonna do the thing cause I feel like on the podcast we've at least talked about it, where it's like rotisserie style. You know what I mean? Where it's just like the top 8 teams or top 6 teams get points.
Yes, every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd have a playoff spot right now for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So we're never going to do that because we love being matched up against somebody, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
fantasy football
Well, you only
style.
think about wanting to do that when you would have been the one that would have been ahead,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Well, when you have a week where you score 120 and you get a
yeah,
loss, you know, and but I feel like that in our league it's pretty rare because we have that, we're an old school conservative league. The one that I'm in with my family, number one, it's smaller. There's not 12 teams in it.
yeah,
The scoring's different. There's PPR, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And so like it's nothing to lose a matchup 135 to 130. You know what I mean? It's just like there's more points out there to have. There's more,
yeah,
and so like that stuff becomes more regular. I think in our league, because points are a little bit, they feel harder to come by.
yeah,
If you score over 100, you feel like you deserve a win.
yeah. Because there's none of these bonus for 100 yards, none of these
Yeah.
point per reception, any of that stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
is there a flex position in your family league?
There is, yeah, yeah. Travis would love it, yeah, yeah. But there's also a bunch of high school kids that don't fill out lineups, so it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Yeah, but it
Uh,
is what it is. All right, so let's look at this week's matchups because these
all
are
righty.
important. These are important. We got 5-3 Ed versus 4-4 Brennan, and like this is go time for both these teams. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Ed doesn't want to become folklore in the sense of like, oh, he just keeps starting strong and then like just falls off at the end. And even though
Yeah.
he's well above 500 right now, it wouldn't take much. Like I can envision a couple weeks from now being like, oh, Ed's 5-5. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I don't want that to happen. I think Baker's good enough, and all the guys he's got on his roster are good enough. But Brennan's coming, and so
Yeah.
it'll be really interesting. And Ed's got a lot of work to do with his lineup right now. So if Ed, you're watching this, set your lineup.
Yeah. And, you know, Junior is lurking. So if
Yeah,
if Brennan loses and Junior wins, then he knocks him off.
yeah.
He
But I
takes his
mean,
spot.
look at just for this week, Baker's on bye. White's on bye. Mike Evans is on IR. He's done, you know what I mean? He's got a bunch of questionable guys on his team. And
Yeah.
so, there's a lot of work that Ed has to do.
And
And
we don't know
Ed,
for sure if it'll happen.
yeah, yeah. So I hope it does. But Brennan's got his own work to do. He's got 3 players on bye, and he's got in his roster, and then he's got an IR and 2 players on bye on his bench. So lots of
Yeah.
work to be done by both of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You get the privilege of playing against Junior. So are
Yeah.
you going to
Well,
be a stumbling block to? Oh, we haven't even talked about who did you pick to win in that matchup?
oh, between Ed and Brennan,
Yeah, do
I'll
you
have to look
remember?
because it's been a few hours. So I picked Ed,
And I picked Brennan. Did you just go
yeah,
opposite me, everyone?
except for myself,
Hmm.
but not by I mean, I went through
Yeah.
and looked, and then I just went and saw.
So
Then I looked back at yours.
sometimes we have a strategy, and I told Dave my strategy was picking the games that were going to be most beneficial for me ending up in first place after this week. So that's my criteria for picking. I have enough wins so right now that I figured I could
Okay,
take a flyer.
but I probably most of it, some of it probably factored in who you picked because you sent it to me first. We've kind of flip
Yeah.
flopped who sent who first.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I went with myself just because, and what I told you was, I got probably mathematically a better chance of making the playoffs than catching you in picking the right winners.
Yeah. So you catch Junior on a week where he's got a lot
I
of
do.
guys on bye.
Yeah.
So
He's got
and I
work to
think that
do.
your
He's
team I think your team's better than your record, and so I think Junior has a setback, and so I picked you to win.
Okay.
But
Junior did not plan for this week ahead of time. He waited until this week to deal with all this.
Yeah.
And and thing is, he's got good guys that he's probably gonna have to drop some of them.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna have to drop some players that other players would be happy to have on their team.
Oh yeah. So that'll start some, dropping and adding. Like, do you want to use your waiver spot now, or do you want to wait and try to get one of Junior's guys?
How do you feel about not even knowing what quarterback you're going to go up against?
Yeah, I don't know who he's going to, because and like I don't know where Junior is I think he's pretty down. I think other people are going to get to pick before him, and if anybody else needs a quarterback, he'll get the next one.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? He's got other guys. He's got enough guys that are good and are playing that if he just fills out a full lineup, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be like an easy win.
All right, so that brings us to Bad Beat Brian versus Flexity Flex. And I went with Brian. Who'd you go with?
I don't know why. Why? No, because this would give you a chance to pass.
Yes.
Yeah, I went with Travis because that's the most likely winner.
Yes. We got Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. So that'll be fun.
I mean, they both have. I don't know if they'll stick with this, but they at least they both have 9 starters already.
No, McLaurin's out, and he's got him in his lineup.
Oh, and he's projected at 93 without McLaurin.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I was wrong.
I may or may not text every one of these people that I picked, that I rooted for, just to let them know.
So yeah, this could be good because Travis will do better than 98. And as soon as he gets somebody in his lineup, Brian's already going to be projected above 98. So,
but we know what's going to happen here. Brian's going to score like 120, and Travis is going to beat him. So that's probably what's going to happen. But I'm
right rooting. Now, if Travis has anybody going on Monday night, that he currently does not, but he's got a Sunday night if nothing changes. Yeah. So Sunday night, if Zach Charbonnet actually plays for him and nobody else, then Sunday night could be the time that he overtakes him. I don't know if Brian has any Monday nights. Let's see, because that's been Brian's downfall is Monday nights, right? To some extent. Oh, he's got Jake Ferguson. So, he's got 2, 1, 2, 3. He's got a lot of Monday nights. So he could be in a big hole like he was this week and have to dig out on Monday night and have it not happen.
This is a one where I'm trying to create some separation between me and Josh. So I picked Lee. Okay. ESPN loves Josh. ESPN does not love Lee. And so this is just me wishful thinking. All right. But now, as it sits, Lee's got some work to do, but Josh is projected to score 106, and he doesn't have to do.
Yeah. And I think I immediately looked at that and I picked him.
Yeah. that was pretty easy for you. You're like ESPN's not right all the time, but can they be that wrong?
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I can make up half a 5 points on you.
And so I'm opening the door. I'm opening the door for a Dave Miller comeback. I'm up 9 on the podcast pick'em, so we'll see how that goes. But I mean, it's so crazy that I even picked Adam to beat Andy because again, if both Andy and Travis lose and I win, then guess what?
Yeah. You're in first place.
Yeah. So for 1 week,
I don't know what path Adam has to, although maybe Murray's back, but that 25 seems pretty high for a projection for somebody that hasn't played.
Hey, I've picked 2 teams to win that are going up against projections of 106.
Yeah.
This is not good for me. All right. I probably should have stuck with my tried and true method of just looking at them and picking like who I think is going to win.
Who might actually win.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing really good at that and I haven't.
Yep. So, and then that brings us to our last matchup, the Smithereens, and you already know who I'm picking. I'm picking myself.
Yeah.
And I'm going up against Rennie. Rennie's lost 3 in a row. I've won 2 in a row. This one will be close, and so
I don't know that I didn't look at this part when I picked Rennie, and that, if you scroll over, you see the top people that you might have. He's got 3 quarterbacks listed as his top 3 projected people, which obviously he can only play one of them.
yes, yeah. So, and he's got Stafford, and if Stafford just throws the ball to Nakua every time, then that would be wonderful. So,
But he also had Williams he could play against the Bengals. And I don't know if you know this or not, but the Bengals don't play defense.
No, they do not. They do not. And I'll just throw this out there. If Joe Flacco is not playing quarterback, then McPherson is not kicking for my team. So there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah. Yeah, he's a bit scary anyway, just because they might lay an egg, but
yeah,
there's other kickers out there.
Yeah, I mean, but so I opened the door, and it's probably one of those things where it's like I've had a tried and true method. I'm up because like it was working, and now I'm kind of messing with the universe. I probably shouldn't, but if I owe you a chicken dinner at the end of this, it'll be we'll look back at week 9 and say
this week was a turning point. I have no reason to have faith that I'll get these 5 wins. That's the best I can do this week is 5, and
but
something crazy is going to happen to where that doesn't work.
But if Travis and Andy and Josh all 3 lose this week, then you're probably going to come over and inspect my house to find out what's happening here. You're probably going to be what kind of juju you got going on?
What kind of Chauncey Billups stuff is going on is what I'm going to be.
That's what he's going to say, yeah.
Where are the cameras and the weighted cards and whatever it is, that's what you got going on, and it's not legal. That's for darn certain.
I mean, this is just the kind of society we live in where it's like none of these major sports leagues were ever going to turn down this kind of money, right? That comes from the advertising and the partnerships. But do you think that I think this was inevitable? I think that when you get in bed with gambling companies as the NBA and the NFL and MLB, even, the Ohtani thing kind of went under, got swept, probably was his interpreter, but all that stuff, there's smoke everywhere.
Yeah. And you hear guys jokingly, maybe, or not jokingly, but in, it's not a big deal. They talk about their fantasy teams and having themselves on them. And I don't know, but I'm guessing that whatever leagues they're in amongst all their other player friends, it's not $75.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the temptation where it's
well, they talk about the prop bets, especially in NBA. Yeah. Prop bets in the NBA, for rebounds or assists or steals or stuff, to some extent, that's in their control. Especially the under. You know what I mean? If you're
which is what got Rozier in trouble, because he's hammy.
Yeah. Yeah, so all that stuff
game, and stop at 3 rebounds.
No, and there's guys, you know what I mean, whether you're talking about LeBron or, there's guys that make so much money off the court that they're not worried about this. But there's guys that are just well, man, I'm, any extra money I make. Yeah. But I just don't. It'd be like I told this. It'd be like putting a swimming pool in your toddler's bedroom and being I don't understand why they drown. What happened? It's well, you put a swimming pool in their bedroom. That's and so for these leagues where it's I don't understand why all these players are gambling or fixing games. Well, I don't know, because you have these huge partnerships and we've made it so easy. I mean, gambling's it's. I heard it's one of the biggest epidemics amongst high school kids. Which means they have to cheat. They have to get their parents to do it. They have to but all you got to have is an app on your phone.
Yep.
So we're gonna
The days
raise
of Pete
up a
Rose having to call his bookie are long
yeah,
gone.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna raise up a whole generation of kids that like, you know, that's their thing. So,
All right.
but
Hey, we're at an hour 4. We should cut this off.
you think so? You think Junior's like sitting in his
Yeah.
driveway listening to this last part?
Yeah, he's trying to get the back home, you know. What do you think of his team name?
Tight ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Well, looking at them.
yeah, makes sense. It's on
Yeah.
brand, as the
It
kids would
is
say.
is definitely on point. Yeah, I can't argue with that one, you
You
know.
know. So
But it's I told him it's probably not a good team name if he really wants to win.
yeah,
I got some experience in this realm. So
yeah. So all right. Well, everyone, good luck this week. We'll see how it goes. Week 9. It's crazy how fast, bam, like that. We're midway through the season. It's like we wait all year for this to happen. We can't wait to get to the tavern and eat tavern burgers.
yeah,
And then, like, here we are. We're halfway through the season.
yeah.
So good luck, good night, and God bless.
See ya.